So we've got Sue, and she's already changed a bit. But we can see with her legs bent, where would her weight be? Probably her shoulder blades would touch more than her middle, which should be very different. I'll see if I can get it for the camera, than if I was there. Where the middle of me is more touching and the shoulder blades are forward. So Sue's a little bit more there. Huh? So she's going to feel pressure on her shoulder blades. So this is what this tells me is everything about the person. And this is what Feldenkrais did. He could just look at someone and go, okay, let's start. So this is what he's starting to observe. So Sue, we can see sort of mainly her shoulder blades here. Yeah. Pelvis, it's evened out. Her head is forward. No? But she'd have a fair amount. She's got a few bits that she can shift her weight across. Look at this. So this is telling me everything about how she weight bears. Because I know, because there's a bit that would be touching the ground. Not a lot, but there's bits that if I take Sue's head and move her through, try and shift her weight, there's a bit there. She understands I'm moving her. I can't bring her forward. I can't bring her over one leg, but she's got a bit of weight shift. Okay, come up to standing, Sue. How much of her would touch the ground now? More or less? She's got more of a curve, yeah, and it has changed from before. But so we can see it's changed a little bit. It's down a little bit lower, but it's definitely her shoulder blades still that are going to hit, yeah, and this part of her pelvis. So when I look at Sue and I put a wall down there, I sort of go, this probably a little bit less. That would know, how does that transfer? Can hardly move her. Huh? Through space. She can't adapt her weight because she can only adapt her weight if she knows ground. Huh? So have a sit, Sue. We'll just do a little bit. So this isn't the lesson, but what we're going to do, Sue, is just make you a little bit rounder, like you were doing in that lesson. Yeah, you know how you were with Ruth and you were doing things where you could change your spine that way, or you were doing more that way. No? You're doing all these different directions. So if I give Sue a little bit more, that's given her a little bit more ground. Can you see? So I haven't done this to her. I haven't said, Sue, let's take you back because this isn't happening, and do that, where I've made it just one point again. I've taken her back in a way that I'm thinking more of her would be contacting the ground. Change in the sit bones, change in the pelvis. So we'll just take her back there. Yeah. So now if you look at her, does that look different? No? There's less tension. There's less tension because she's got more ground. Yeah. So I haven't done anything to mobilise her feet. Huh? Just thinking, give her ground. And what happens, Sue? Oh, how did that happen? How did that happen? Just by giving her more ground. Because it doesn't matter where I give ground. This is how a baby develops. You know, a baby doesn't learn to put its feet on. I mean, it does push through its feet, but it's everything it's done in the build-up that all of a sudden it comes up and goes, I can have my feet on the ground. But it hasn't had to learn through pushing. Okay, so now have a stand up. So we've given her a little bit more ground. Feel how much more of your feet. I haven't done anything in terms of force transmission or anything. All I've done is given her more ground. So that's what we're doing here. We're really trying to find ground for someone so that we can begin to move them across the ground, which is what babies are first learning to do. To shift their weight in all these ways across the ground. Thank you, Sue. So it's really understanding, what are we looking for? What am I assessing? What am I really looking for when I'm looking at someone? I think ground's fundamental. That's the anti-gravity response. Do you know what I mean? That is what we're working with every minute of every day, whether we're lying, whether we're sitting, whether we're standing. That is the constant that we're always organising around. Well, we've given Sue a little bit more ground, okay? So come up, just watch how she comes up to standing. And we could sit there and go, look, it could be a bit easier, you know, and down. And then let's lose a little bit of a ground again. So I'll pull her up tall, because this is what Sue likes to be. This is where she likes to be, up. Yeah, because this is where she feels competent and she can get things done. We all learn this, Sue. For me to learn, oh my God, I can be competent and down here. Yeah. So now she hasn't got as much ground. No. Huh? So am I going to try and bring her up to standing? No. I'd have to, for Sue, go down, Sue. Look at that ground. Oh, it's a wonderful place. It's just the most wonderful place to come up from. Yeah. And that's what you're also seeing, because remember, we looked at Philippa and Mia. One of them was more organised to go down. One of them was more organised to go up. That's what you're doing. From looking at the sitting and standing, I'm just going on here, Linda, just to generalise this out, just to go that this is a general principle that transfers to every position. Doesn't matter what you do, it's telling you about how someone is organised to support themselves. And, you know, it's where, you know, I was talking to someone yesterday, it's where all these crazy things, who was telling me, you've got to tell your story, Chelsea. The ears, you've got to tell the story.
Well.
So what we're getting at is, what are these truths that have been embedded for years that somehow have got lost in the translation? Huh?
I can't remember how I started it, but it was something about like all the very old-fashioned ways of, you know, sitting up straight. Or, you know, you pay more attention when you're like that. But one I realised one day was I was very angry at my mum, who cooks beautiful cakes. And I couldn't. I was trying to breathe it out, and I couldn't. I couldn't calm myself with my breathing, and I just went, and I let it come out my ears, and presto, it was gone. And I was like, all those old Mickey Mouse cartoons and everything, where they let it out their ears, and it works. I don't know. I just felt like it was all gone, and I couldn't do that with my breath.
Most of us, when we get angry, many ways to get angry, but most of it is pulling into the midline. Most of it is losing width. Width. So isn't this a great image to give you width?
Possibly, yeah.
Huh?
Like you said, possibly that unlocks your jaw as well. Just.
But it's that same thing. Why so often do they check posture by having you standing against a wall? I mean, I think it's got absolutely lost in translation, but there's still something there. That's what we're doing. We're putting a vertical line behind, in a way, not quite as rigid, so you're not going to the wall. We're not quite doing that. But it's the same principle. What does it tell us about someone's organisation? Just as, you know, you do all of these ATMs, and it's been wonderful for me, this series, because I'm just getting so much more width through my shoulders and my ribs. That's starting to... I mean, I felt it before, but I lost it because I didn't connect it. But so it's this whole idea about what are we looking for as Feldenkrais practitioners.
It's just that funny story watching one of the videos with Moshe, and he's saying, well, I went home to my mother and she said, stand straight. So it's just, I mean...
It's the same thing though, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. It's really interesting, and I don't know what, but ours at school was to do this. You had to do this to pay attention. Or this would be when they'd let you out of class. And when you do it like this and I'm soft, it's wonderful because it's taken me away from all of this, you know? So if I softly engage my extensors like that, my head gets more supported, I can actually attend much better. And there's because I've got the softness. But what we were told was we all did this. That was our interpretation, and that's what I'm saying by it gets lost in the translation. No. How rigidly am I holding it? Or could I attend and be here? Huh? It's wonderful, really, because it's widening your chest after all day you've been there. Yeah? So there's something really fundamental in a lot of these things that we tend to can often throw them out. But what is it? So do you want to change and have a go? Yeah?